Hey Time Slicers, welcome to Slice Squad Spills. I'm your host, Nikki Wildflower. I went from a basement apartment to a multiple seven-figure empire. Now I'm here to share how you can do it too. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this amazing episode. We are like so impromptu that it's not even funny. I just am like the least organized podcaster in the entire world because I asked Araz to be on this podcast maybe 15 minutes ago. I was like, hey, what are you doing today? Could you come on my podcast? She's like, not really. I'm freaking busy, but I guess I will. No, you didn't say that, but I know
that. Come on.
I know you had I know you had shit going on though. And then I'm here, of course, with my co-host Jackie, who is also simultaneously my sister. And Araz I met Araz about a few years ago, and through Magic's 10, she has an incredible platform, mostly centered around, well, you know what? I'm doing a disservice. I'm going to let Araz introduce herself. So welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. This was so impromptu, but it's very much in line with who I am as a person. So we just roll with shit. Can I cuss on here? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I'll try to be mindful and not.
You think so? We do every time.
No,
like
we do curse every time.
It's part of my language, so it comes out sometimes. So thanks for having me. Yeah, I love the impromptu shit. I'm here for it. I was working from home today, and obviously, Nikki, I love you. Yeah. So I met Nikki. We met a few years ago through Magix. For those of you that don't know me, I've been a colorist for 20 something years. I've been heavily involved in education for about 15, 16 years. And, probably about 6 years ago, I got involved with Magic's 10 because I love the concept of working smarter and more efficiently. And I found a line that actually helped me do that. So I got really involved with Magic's, but why I love it is part of my passion in education is helping stylists understand, obviously how to work smarter, but also to understand what we're using, the science of what we're doing, the chemistry of what we're doing, to really help people be more empowered behind the chair. Because I think a lot of times we waste a lot of time in our head with anxiety of what am I going to do? Which technique should I use? How am I going to formulate? Like, it takes up a lot of brain space. So, part of my mission is to help inspire and empower hairdressers through what I've learned. And so if I can help kind of ease your anxiety around formulation and understanding what we're using and how to work smarter, then you're just naturally going to be more successful behind the chair. So that's just kind of a little blip of what I do. I love this industry and I've met so many fucking cool people. I never thought I'd be here 20 something years in. So, and look at me, I'm on your podcast with you today. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So good.
Like, look,
that.
social media makes it possible too. I saw that. I mean, like, I would say your social media kind of it was a long time coming. You stayed very consistent. And this is what I try to tell people. Like, you never know when the day is going to be that it just like pops off. You know what I mean? And I remember the day, not that you didn't have a decent amount of followers before, but I remember the day when you started getting the attention you deserved. And I think it was through a repost. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, she is gaining thousands of followers a day. People are finally seeing this.
I have
Thankfully.
goosebumps. Yeah, it was last December. So I started, I own a company called Combed Education, and it's an online learning platform that focuses on the science, chemistry, artistry. It was a long time coming. And so I finally brought it to the online world 2 years ago. And that's when I really hunkered down on being consistent on social media. I have my own podcast and I was like, I am not missing an episode. Like, it was another full-time job and it took a long time, but it was December of last year where I crossed the 10K threshold. And I remember I texted you, I was like, oh my God, like it's been now 11 months and I'm almost at 32,000. So yeah, I grew almost 20,000 followers just by being super consistent on social media. Nikki, you're right. Like my friend Tanya, who's the director of social media for Magix too, she's been telling me like, you just have to keep showing up. And then there will be a tipping point where all of your work like finally is. So thank you for saying that it's been a long time coming. Cause I was like, dude, if this doesn't pop up, I'm still going to do it because it's my passion, but like, fuck, who am I talking to? Like, people hearing me. And so now it's finally happening. And it's so cool to see not only the following, but the people who are actually excited about learning what I have to share. I always say science is sexy, chemistry is sexy. It's not this nerdy, old school shit. Like when you know your shit, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Hell yeah. And you show up so authentically on social media. So I feel like it really just adds to your message and attracts all of the right people to your page. I love you're just like unapologetically yourself. It's how Nikki shows up too. And I do my best as well to show up that way because I'm so inspired by people like both of you. So I love watching your content. I think you're great.
Thank you. Well, honestly, a lot of it is like Nikki changed the game for me on how to show up on social media. While I've always been authentic, there was this part of me for a long time where I'm like, well, I still have to keep it in this professional box. Like I work with brands, I work with manufacturers. I'm talking about science and chemistry. I can't be throwing the fuck bomb word left and right. And just like watching Nikki just show up, and Nikki always would say, like, your people are gonna find you. And so that was ingrained in my brain of just like, I just need to be how I am. And if people don't like it, that's okay. But for the longest time, I was very like, oh my God, if they don't like, I grew up with this belief system of like me. And then once I let that shit go from watching you, honestly, Nikki, and a couple other people, I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? No, this is who I am. If you like me, we're gonna mesh. And as I meet people, they're like, I feel like I've known you, and I'm like, yeah, because there's no more mask, right? It's like,
Exactly.
this is what you're gonna get. And if hopefully you love it, but if you don't, I'm okay because there's like 7 billion people in the world, so somebody is gonna be okay with it.
Exactly. You know what? And that's what I say to people because they're like, and I remember there actually came a day where you started to like see some of those hate comments because anytime you go viral or anything like that, that's kind of also the tipping point where, okay, now you're going to get 80 nice comments and you're going to get 5 really, really mean ones, sometimes even completely unrelated to what you're saying. Like people, so people will comment on my stuff and be like, I just hate your voice. You're an
Sorry, it's not funny at all.
well, it is.
Like,
It is funny. Like that's the thing.
like really.
I think
Right.
I think that I think that it is funny is the thing. So people will be like, they're like, I hate your voice. I hate listening to you talk. You need to like lay off the drinking and have a little class. And I'm like, first of all, I barely even drink, so you need to calm down. Second of all, like it's not like I love my voice. This is what I have. But this is what I have been given to work with. So I'm just rolling with that. Now I'm just at the point where like I think it's comical. So people will comment like I like what you just did, but I hate your annoying voice. And I'll just comment back and just be like, yeah, no, totally. I think I should just shut up, right?
That's
Maybe
funny.
use an AI voice instead. Not sure.
Or they'll be like, your work sucks. And I'm like, I couldn't agree more. I got to be honest with you. And look at me thriving.
Thriving. Well, I remember it was sometime in January where I had a repost and it went viral and it was very controversial because when it comes down to like what I talk about, the people have a lot of opinions and they like to kind of fight back. And back then it was in January and I remember I DM'd you. Like I spiraled into a 3-day depression because people were taking my content out of context and then not only hating on my content, but they were like encouraging, like, this is when I realized there's some fucked up people in the world. They were encouraging their audience, which some of these people had a larger audience than I did at the time, encouraging their audience to unfollow me and that I'm a fraud. And like, it was so hurtful. Like I was like, what the fuck? And I DM'd you, and that's when you kind of coached me up. You and Julie, we're just like, dude, this is how you know you're doing great. Like you got the haters. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna believe what Nikki has to say because all my internal shit is like, you are an imposter, you are a fraud. Like, and I bought into that for 3 days. I was so depressed. And then I came out of it, and now I'm just like, oh, I don't care. It's okay. It's totally
Yeah.
okay. Like you can totally hate me. Like who hurt you? Like really?
Yeah. It's
No.
it's tough like in the world of social media. It's like, once you get a certain amount of followers, people just assume that it's like you're an influencer, you're not a real human. I'm just gonna be a keyboard troll and just say whatever I want to say. It's like, hey, we do have feelings and it does take time to build up that like tough skin around it when people are saying nasty things, especially when you're first getting started and you're like in this momentum. But I'm glad you used your resilience and
Yeah,
reached
like,
out to the
I
people
was
around you who
really
have been there.
really shy, and I was like, and then
Love
like
that. Yeah.
crash and
Yeah.
burn.
Yeah, I think this is actually something I didn't know we were going to go this direction, but I think it's something that's really important to talk about because that happens a lot. So, and then anytime where you're doing something that is against the norm, it is a really, really gorgeous thing. Like that is how you grow, number one, just by being a little bit against the grain and being a little bit controversial, and that's okay. But with that is going to come people who are like, I hate you, because also it goes against everything that they thought that they knew.
Right, because now
So
you're
they're like,
challenging their belief system. Not only are you doing something different, but now you're challenging their shit. And so people don't
yeah,
want to be challenged, and they're going to put that shit right back on you instead of be open minded and be like, hey, maybe there's something here for me. Like,
right.
what a fucking notion.
Exactly.
So somebody
What a
will
good.
like somebody will see my work, or somebody will see my work on social media who's taking like 7 hours to do their appointments, and that's all fine and good, but they'll see what I'm saying and just take it really personally and think it's like an attack on them and be like, I hate you, you're sloppy, you're lazy, you're a piece of shit, and you're everything that's wrong in this industry. And I'm like, okay, let's just take a step back, okay? It's okay. But it does hurt, especially it hurts especially when for some reason it hurts more when people there could be like 1,000 nice comments and then you're going to take that one mean one and take that the most to heart. And it's really hard not to do that. And I have realized that how many posts do you see on social media where you're like, I don't agree with that necessarily?
I mean, there are a
Like,
lot, but I just like,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you just keep
Just
scrolling
moving on
because
with my life about it.
because nobody is going to sit there and take nobody who is in a good place and actually thriving in their life is going to take the time to sit there and be like, let me, you know what, let me just disagree with this person. Let me just say something a little bit mean to them and ruin their day.
there's something wrong if that's what you're doing. Like there's really something, and that's you were talking about that it hurts. There's certain situations where it hurts more. Like for me, it hurts more when it's from people who I either admire, look up to, respect. Like I've had that happen where there were people who I respected in this industry just completely slander. And I was like, whoa, damn, like I understand like some random person who does hair, like whatever, like if I don't know you, but if I know you and you're somebody respectable in this industry and you have the time and you have the energy to sit there and shit on somebody else, like why are you not in your business? But it's hurtful, but then I think like, okay, if you have the time to do this, then you're clearly not thriving in the way that I thought you were. So that cool, good on you. Like that shit hurts though. That's
Is what you're saying what I always think of this person. So like I had somebody like backlash against me a little while back who had a big platform. It did hurt in the moment, and then I thought to myself like, does what I'm saying challenge this person's business model? Yes. They feel threatened, okay? And they're on the defense, and that's okay. I'm like, I feel bad for that person, genuinely, because I could see even the hate in their eyes when they speak. And I'm like, I'm happy and you're not, and that sucks, and I feel bad. Like, I wish you I wish you love and light and therapy, and I'm gonna block you.
And therapy.
Uh, it was funny the other day I was making, but I block so there have been like, I will block you. I don't even care at this point because I'm like, I don't even need to see that. I don't need to see that. So like I was making a post the other day, like block you. I'm not going to block you. You know, that template, no bitch, you're going to watch me win. And then I'm like, no, but I did actually block
No,
everybody.
but you were fully blocked.
But no,
Yeah.
actually I am going to block you. Because when you're doing well in your life and you are thriving and you've done the inner work to have the coping skills to know how to have the coping skills and the emotional intelligence to know how to treat people,
yeah,
you don't care what other people are doing. You're like,
No.
good for you. Do your thing.
I had a client once tell me, she's like, you have to be like Teflon. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you just let shit roll off of you. You don't internalize other people's shit because it's their traumas, it's their projections. And that stuck with me too. So anytime I encounter people, not just professionally, but even in personal life, where I feel like they're trying to attack me, I'm like, okay, there's something in you that I'm triggering, but it has nothing to do with me. has not, I am good in my head and my heart. I can sleep well at night. And so with that, like I'm love, light, and therapy. Like
This this human experience is interesting. We're all just perceiving and projecting. And yeah, that I always think like I hope that you can reflect, like look in the mirror when you're judging me or others. Just look in the mirror. Like what's going on? Because it's not about you. It's not about Nikki. It's not about me ever. It's about themselves. So um yeah,
I want
just
to piggyback on that because Jackie, you were talking about how everyone is a mirror. So if somebody like talking to somebody who's hating, right? If you're hating or if you're judging me, where is that internally for you? While I believe that, I'll take it one step further. If you're on social or if you meet people who you admire, who you respect, who you see the light in them, who you see something great about them, I promise you it's in you because you're projecting and perceiving. So the only reason that you see the light in somebody else and you think, wow, they're so determined or wow, they're so authentic, it's in you too. You just got to find it. You just have to dig and find it. So it's not always a bad thing, this whole projecting and perceiving and the mirror. I take it as a good thing too. So you see
it's great.
somebody and you think they're the shit. Guess what? You're fucking the shit too. Like
Yeah,
Right.
just
It's
uncover.
100%.
possible for you too. Yeah, I love that. I love that reframe. That's beautiful. Good one.
Only reason you can see shit in somebody is because that shit is in you. The only reason you can see good in somebody is because it's good in you.
Yep.
Period. So just be mindful
Hell
of
yeah.
that, guys.
100%. So I was thinking the other day. So I had an ex who did me so dirty. I mean, like my ex-husband, he was unkind, right? And for years after we separated, so this was trigger warning, abuse. Stop listening if this is going to trigger you. Domestic violence. So for years I was in this abusive relationship, and when we split up, this was a long time ago, when I finally got out of it, he really did me dirty. Like from a financial standpoint, I got completely screwed. And for many, many years after that, I was really struggling financially to get back on my feet. I was struggling mentally. Like I had never been worse in my life. Like I had never been worse off in my life. I had a nervous breakdown. I almost ended up in a psych ward. Like there was, I could not get back on my feet for the life of me. And I remember I would like stalk him all day and all night because I'm like, this person, I had this anger in me. I was like, he doesn't deserve this. I'm like, look at him, he's thriving. And now that I am doing well in my like amazing and I'm happy, I don't think about this person. I don't care if he's thriving. Like, granted, I don't think he's like a good person. I hope that he is, but that's how I feel. Like, I genuinely, because I do think that people could change. I genuinely hope that he has done the inner work to change, but I don't think about him. Like, I don't care if he's thriving or not thriving. I don't care at all. That's the thing. So when you're in a good place in your life, the last thing you're thinking about is like anybody who did you wrong, anybody whose posts that you don't agree with. So when
Even
somebody,
people that are
so
doing better than you. Like it literally does not matter because you have tunnel vision, right?
yeah.
Like you're looking at, well, this is where I'm at, right? I'm looking at what do I need? What does Araz need? What does Araz want? And what does Araz need to do to make that happen? So me looking over here at what this person is doing, whether it's good or bad, is not going to help me. And me doing this shit that's probably a really bad coping mechanism is not going to help me. So like, how do I stay in tunnel vision to build this life of my dreams, to be happy internally with the love, light, and therapy, like all of it, I deserve it. And so I don't care anymore. Like whoever it is, I wish you well. Literally, I wish you well from the bottom of my heart, from a place of love. Like you do you, let me do me. And what happens is when you're in that tunnel, you're going to be aligned with people who are on that same path, right? Like I've seen it happen in my life. Like these people just being poured into my life, these connections. And I'm just like, see, it's because I'm focused on me. I'm not giving a fuck what anybody else is doing.
You don't care. When you're doing well, you don't care what other people are doing. You do, but from a genuine point of like, I want you to thrive because I'm thriving and I want you to thrive. Like, I don't want anybody to not be thriving. Why would I?
And you
Oh my
embody
gosh.
that. Nikki, you like 100% embody that. You have that win-win mentality. Like very few people that I've met where I genuinely see it in you that you do want everyone to win. And what's going to happen is you're attracting the winners, right? And so the people who don't want to win, they're going to fall off. right? They're going to fall off and you're going to stay in alignment with your people because your people are going to find you. Like you said that, and it's so fucking true.
I was gonna say, I think because of the way that Nikki embodies that, like that's integrity for her, right? Like it's very true, it's very real. The clients we bring into Slice Squad Consulting are those people who are like, I see myself in, like, there's a mirror there for them with Nikki and the way that she, like, okay, this person inspires me because I can see that they came from this place that maybe was not, I mean, not really the place of automatic success in life, right? Like you went through a lot of hardship and you speak into it and yourself, and you're yourself, you curse, you're like, I have ADHD, I made a mess in this video. You're talking about yourself being a what did you say, a colonial woman in a past life on social media, so random, you know. But people see that, and that's why I feel like we have such a beautiful community. Like that's a really great base level of why the Slice Squad community is so, we're all in that tunnel vision, that growth, and like down to earth. This is where we're at. Let's go together. And it's the most amazing thing in the world.
Yeah. So with that, when I tell people to post consistently on social media, and when I tell them you can't care what other people think, but like genuinely whose opinion of you actually matters in your life, what, 5 people?
Mm.
Mostly yours, though, first and foremost.
I'm on your list.
No. I'm saying like
Your own, your own.
Oh, I was like, why do you care what I think?
because I respect you. And so when Jack was talking about how you're attracting these people in the Slice Squad Consulting, you are a mirror. Like I remember when we first met, I was like, dang, like Nikki showed me, like you're one of the realest people who showed me like, dang, I can fucking do that. Like you're not up there with those people. Like you're here with me. You were a mirror for me when we first met. And then especially in the last year, like I see what you're doing. I see the hustle that you're putting into it. I see the heart that you're putting into it. I'm like, I know if she can do it, I can do it. She's not on Jupiter, or I mean a little bit, but like fall out. She's a real like
I'm a real person.
you're a real
Yeah.
fucking person, and I've seen your growth in the last 5 years. And so not only are you inspiring your clients, but like you inspire people like me of just like, no, I can fucking do it too. Like
Yeah.
I see
You can.
in your mess and your beautifulness, like you're doing it, so I can too, right? Like
And you're doing it. You have had like explosive growth, and it's amazing. So when people come to me and say things like, wow, your shit blew up overnight, I'm like, no.
no.
Oh, honey, there were crickets for literally
Years.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, crickets. And you know what? What I decided in my life, and the reason why I will never fail at any business venture. No, I have failed at business ventures before and quit on them. So I'm not going to say I will fail. I will keep going. Consistency is my secret weapon, nothing else. So it's like, if I post today 3 times and I get 0 views, I'm going to post tomorrow 3 times, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. If I post today and I get a ton of hate, I'm going to post tomorrow again. It was years and years of that happening and maybe not seeing anything until they did. And sometimes still, you fall into these slumps where nobody's looking at your stuff, and you're still going to show up the next day because you know the importance of consistency.
Mhm.
It's
You
boring.
get results. It's inevitable. Results are inevitable when you stay consistent. You think about, I don't know if anyone here has struggled with weight loss, weight gain. Like that's been a theme
Yes.
for my
100%. Yeah.
right? If I stay consistent, when I stay consistent, the results are there. It's when I'm no longer consistent and I have a cheat day or I break my fast or whatever, then the results go down and then I stop getting results. So it's that same mindset. You can apply it to your business, your finances,
Anything.
your relationship. How
Yep.
consistent are you showing up in your relationship? Right.
Mhm.
And it's so fucking true. Results are inevitable. You just got to stay consistent. And when you find yourself falling off the wagon, that's when you reach out to your fucking community of people to help.
Resilience. Yep. Setbacks. Like, how do we mindfully reframe a setback and ask those around us who are there to support us rather than go into like a bubble circle hole and a 2-month depression where you don't be consistent whatsoever. No.
Yeah.
I went 3 days and then I reached out to Nick and I
Yep.
was like, I
Yep.
help me out of this because you've experienced this, right? And like a good reframe that I've used in my personal life is that every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every single setback is set up for you to have a bomb ass comeback if you choose, right? You have choice. So you can choose to go into the deep dark spiral for 2 months, or you can be like, hey, that sucked. Now what? Right? So
What was
Yeah.
my lesson? How can I use this? Like, what was my lesson? What did I learn? How can I use this for my growth in the future?
right. Squeeze the juice
Yep.
out of everything, guys. Out of every experience that you have, just fucking milk it. Milk it, take what you need to learn from it. And it will help you.
Yep.
Like, first of all, I am gonna cry a little. Give me 2 days,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna
And then
boss
I'm gonna
up.
be okay.
I'm a boss the fuck up. Yeah, but I need to cry. You have to feel it too. Like you can't just
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta just face the pain head on, go
Yep.
straight through it, plow through the pain, feel it. And that was like another thing that I learned is that you can't like if it hurts when this person is saying mean things about me on their platform, then I'm gonna let it hurt. And I'm gonna let myself feel that. And I'll look at Allison and be like, my feelings are hurt. I'm like, and I'm just sad.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Because also, like, if my feelings are hurt or if I'm triggered or if there's something activated in me, that's also trigger for me of just like, okay, why did that hurt my feelings? Is it
Why did that hurt?
where am I lacking in my belief system about myself? Because I know what they're saying is not true, but like there's part of me that believes it, which is why I'm sad. So let me work through that and then face it, deal it, feel it, and then move on.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? Has this come up in my life before? Has somebody else said something like this to me about myself? Is it a subconscious, even though I've done a lot of the work, is it a subconscious internal belief about myself still?
Doing the work
And
is
that's
just peeling an
power.
onion, guys. It's never ending.
Yeah, I know.
Never ending
It's gonna keep
self-work.
coming up. It's gonna keep coming.
Yep, it's true.
My therapist is like, you are such an introspective person because I'm constantly just like, how can I improve myself? Like, I'm like, okay, so, and she'll like say something to me, and I'm like, explain that.
Yeah, me too. I have my notebook out. My therapist tells me, like, you're the most self-aware client I've ever had. I'm like,
Yes.
yes. Like, I will not settle for being unhappy anymore. I was so
No.
depressed and so miserable for so fucking long. I'm done. I'm done. Like, I can't have it anymore. There's no room. I can't. I need to feel light and be happy. And the only way to do that is to look inside and figure out what the fuck is going on and get through it. Like, I know
Yep.
that's not where this podcast was headed, but like, I'm so happy.
No, but it is. The podcast is headed where it's supposed to be headed always.
That's
So
it. We go rogue. The more rogue we go, I feel like the better the episodes are because we're just like speaking from our heart, like speaking from our heart and like letting the energy flow. And this is a really great and important conversation that's going to help a lot of people. So I love this direction.
Yeah, don't be
yeah.
scared to take yourselves on. That's my one, like, complete unsolicited advice. Take yourself on.
And then you get in this place where being somebody who has struggled with mental illness my entire adult life and probably my childhood too, but my parents didn't address that. So, mom, I'm calling you out. Not my child. My child is completely fine. Love you. But I mean, even on the deeper scale of like anxiety and OCD, that was like so overpowering that it's like, how did you not see that I was mentally ill? They didn't see it though. That's okay. It was a different time. We forgive them. But I got help for myself the second that I could when I was 18 because I realized. And you get to a point when you go through all this therapy and you do all this inner work and you're constantly on this self improvement journey where you're like, I can recognize something creeping in. So now when I'm like, okay, my brain is doing some things that it has done in the past, I'm feeling really scared right now. And I'm having these really intrusive thoughts right now. I have felt this before. Okay, pause. I feel it. It hurts and it's scary. I'm going to survive this. I'm going to go talk to I'm going to go talk to my therapist. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. I felt this before and I survived it, and there will be light on the other side of it. So, even if it's like a depressive episode, which does happen for me sometimes, like after my dad died, I was like, I know that I'm never going to be happy again. That's what I said. I was like, there's no way that I'm ever going to get through this. This is the most pain I've ever felt in my life. I'm like, and I can't imagine life. I don't want to, I'm like, I don't even want to be happy. I don't care. Like this business could just like burn to the ground for all I care. It doesn't matter. And I was like, and I can't imagine myself ever being happy again. And then I remember saying to myself, wait, have you ever felt this way before? Yeah. Did you get through it? Yeah. And here I am through it. It still hurts. but I'm not in that place anymore, you know? And when you're in it, it's really hard to see the light at the end of it, but it comes.
But
Yeah.
you know yourself well enough to know that it's going to come, and you know yourself well enough to be able to reach out to what you need to help you. Because at the end of the day, like, I discovered this about myself this weekend, where I developed a very hyper independent personality from a very young age. My mom died when I was really young. My dad emotionally checked out. I was very much on my own. I mean, I shared this on my stories to the point in seventh grade. I got a transfer from one school to the next. I called the principal, the district. Like, I did that at what, 12, 13 years old, because I knew I couldn't depend on somebody else. But what I learned is that hyper independence is toxic, right? And so it really does take, I read this yesterday, where we always say with children that it takes a village to raise children. It takes a village to raise children. Well, guess what? It also takes a village as an adult. Like, you need your
Yes.
sisterhood.
You need your people.
You need your fucking people. And I was like, I got it. I got it. I got it. I don't need anybody. Like, I can't depend on people. People disappoint, blah, blah, blah. I got to look at all of that and be like, well, okay, well, red flag. I gaslit the shit out of myself because of my trauma and this hyper independence. So it's like, when you shift into, okay, no, I'm aware shit's coming up and I have people. So let me reach out to them. Let me use the resources that universe has given me, the people, the places, whatever, and pull myself out of it. That's the fucking work, guys. Like, that's the work. You got to do
And
it.
it takes the practice and the self-awareness of being able to be mindful for a moment and reflect on, like, why am I having these thoughts? It's okay that, like, we're all human, and let's give ourselves grace, right? But also, like, where are these thoughts coming from? How valid are they? Because I'm the same way. So like, when I'm going through a challenging time, my first instinct is like, pull back, don't call anyone, just be alone with it, figure it out. You're going to get through it. You've got this. And it is toxic. It's actually like, you have such a support system. I have to always remind myself. And like, one of my core values is community. But the last thing I do, like, I want to hold space for everybody. And then I'm like, I don't want to burden anyone with mine. I've got it handled. I don't want unsolicited advice. Like, I've got it handled. But there are people, like, you can reach out to the correct people in your life, depending on the circumstance. Like, people can be higher counsel to you in certain areas and then not in others. So I really like that. Just the idea of, like, reflect. What is your automatic response? And then why is that your automatic response? And is that automatic response serving you?
Right. Because then you have that choice, right? But the only way you can even make that choice is get off autopilot and shine that little awareness flashlight. And like, whoa, this reaction, I'm feeling depression. I don't think I'm going to feel happy ever again. And then you hear it and you're like, no, and then you just reframe the whole thing.
Yep.
Right.
That's exactly it.
And that's what I mean when I say take yourself on, get off autopilot. And that literally transitions to how I teach when I'm talking about hair color and chemistry and science and formulation. We are so on autopilot as hairdressers. We really are. I've been in this industry for a long time. We don't think we just do, right? And that leaves room for negligence. That leaves room for neglect when we're not really concentrating on what we're supposed to do. That leaves room for error. So when do we actually take a step back is when we fuck up. Because when you're on autopilot, you're just doing shit, not thinking, and then you have an oh shit moment, and then you start working backwards. Where did I go wrong? So my goal is get the fuck off autopilot. Let's be strategic with what we're doing so that we don't fuck up, right? Like, be aware, what is the canvas? What are the chemicals? What are you using? How are you formulating? So that you don't waste time trying to fix something, and you have that awareness, and that now you can connect with your client and be present because you're not on autopilot or you're not living in fucking past or future. So
Exactly.
it ties in.
I love your whole platform and like everything that you teach about formulation and chemistry, and the way that you're able to simplify it for people, I think is huge, because one of the biggest problems in our industry, actually, like one of the biggest pain points for stylists, is I don't know what the hell I'm doing with formulating. Like, and I was the same way for years. I'm like, just getting by. I don't understand, like, and nothing, and rarely did anything bad, but sometimes it did, because I didn't know what the hell I was formulating for.
Sometimes it's not even that it goes bad. Sometimes it's just that you do something and it looks good, but it's not what the client wanted. Right.
Yeah.
So like, and then you turn into this master salesman of just like, oh, just what, like when you overtone. Okay. People overtone all the time. They use too much violet. It turns a little lavender. What do we tell our clients? Wash it a couple times. It'll be fine. Well, I'm sorry, but if I charge my client $500 for a service, that shit better be fucking perfect. I'm not going to tell them go wash it. It'll be fine. So sometimes it's not these major fuck ups, but it's that little like, I know I could have done better.
I knew I could have done better. We
Mhm.
know it in our guts.
Yeah, 100%. And then like, so you could either acknowledge it and fix it, or not have that problem to begin with if you know, if you have a good understanding of how to predict. Now, listen, there are times where it's a crapshoot and you don't know what's going to happen. But how I teach what I teach is to get you to understand what the hair is going to give you. So formulation is more than just formulating. Okay. Formulation is more than what you're putting in your bowl with the colors that you're using. It's what is the hair, what is the texture, what is the porosity, what is the dominant melanin, what was their hair when they were born, how does it behave in the sunlight? Like understanding all of that plus the chemistry and the chemicals and the acidity and the alkalinity and the liquid and the cream plus the tones. Like formulation is more than just what you're putting in your bowl. It's the whole, it's so incredibly nuanced. And that's what I is a challenge, because so many people, like you said, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to formulate. You're putting formulation in a box, and it's more than just the 6N and 9V. It's more than that, right? Like it's so much more than that. And so it's hard to get people to see that there's more that, so I've told you before, but I feel like I'm pushing a fucking snowball uphill trying to get people to understand this, but it's happening. I'm seeing more and more people like, oh yeah, maybe she's onto something. Like, yeah.
Trying to get people to understand that like it's important is, I mean, they know, but like what I have found in my years of being an educator is that when we try to teach stylists something that's outside of like necessarily that creative, like let me learn a new technique thing, it is like pulling teeth. I'm like, first of all, your issue is not your technique. It's literally
It's never,
it's
it's never that.
it's literally other shit. Probably your mindset most of the time. I'm like, but to get you to even like acknowledge that and want to work on that is like pulling teeth. But the second I put out a color video and they're like, oh, I want to try something new. Or like we launched Slice Strands last week, which is that I co-founded with Alyssa, who was, we'll have Alyssa on the podcast a different day, but Alyssa was literally my consulting client. Now, Alyssa is the rare gem that did know, like, okay, I do care about my business as a hairstylist. Like, I want to retire when I'm 52. Now, I hope that she doesn't retire when she's 52 because,
Well, she can retire
it's
from
gonna be
behind the
crazy.
chair, but she will.
yeah, because
She's a machine. It's not happening.
because we're busy out here. Okay. So Alyssa started out as my client, was absolutely already crushing it. Like in a small town, she's making $5,000 a week as an extensionist. And Alyssa, and I'm much like this too. So I saw so much of myself in her because she was like, oh yeah, but why would I stop? Like, I know that I can learn something from Nikki, even though I barely do hair color. She's like, I know that like I gotta hire Nikki to be to consult with
And
me.
that was the best
So
decision that girl ever fucking made.
Oh
I-
yeah, I mean, look at
and
what
she-
it turned
she-
into.
That's not even my words. Those are her words.
Yeah.
and she invested in herself. And at the time, she didn't have it. Like
Mm-mm.
she didn't have it. She had to pay in like 3 payments. And but right away I knew because she came in with like yeah, just tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. And I just watched this person's business like boom from $5,000 a week in a small town to with at the end of 13 weeks 17,000, after her 13 weeks 19,000, 20,000
A week.
a week.
A week.
Just
a week.
just her with the blueprint. And of course I'm going to hire her. Like I immediately afterwards I'm like, I knew it the first day. I was like, this person's going to be a part of our team, because she was like, I do want to be an educator. Like that is what I would love to do. I'm like, for yourself, you want to be an independent educator? She's like, no, I'd rather do it with like a brand. And I'm like, so you want to work here? And she's like, I didn't want to be too forward. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're going to work here. It's fine. Let's just get through these 90 days first. We didn't get through the 90 days. We got
No,
through.
I'm like, we didn't pull her out of them. She simultaneously started consulting with us as she finished her 90 days with Nikki because we poached her from them.
Well, how could you not?
Yeah.
And that's
I-
that's that rare gem of an individual who knows that there's things that they don't know. So I think one of the most detrimental mindsets that we can have as professionals, as individuals, is I already know.
Righteousness.
And it's
It's
not
like,
in a malicious way, Jackie. Like I
no,
think people are like,
yeah.
I fucking know. But it's like you hear somebody say something like, "Oh, I already know that," so you check out, right? Your mind goes on vacation because you hear a word and you're like, "Oh, in my brain arsenal, I've heard this before, so I'm gonna stop listening." You don't know what you can get in that moment. Somebody could say it differently. I had somebody a couple years ago come to almost every single one of my California classes. It was the same magics class. It was the same fucking class. And she sat there, eyes open, front row with her notebook. And I was like, Kim, you've heard this class literally 13 times. And she's like, I get something out of it every time. Just keep your mind open and don't go to, I
Yes.
already know that because you're going to miss, you're going to lose.
My biggest pet peeve with every once in a while, we will have a consulting client who comes through and they're already in this mentality of I know everything, right? And so they're like, well, I could see the value in this, but I feel like I already know everything that you have to say. And I'm like, then why are you only making $1,000 a week? Why are you here?
That is, it's such a pet peeve. Like, there's no new information here. I know all of it.
So
Okay,
then why are you only here when you could be here?
right.
I'm sure you
And
do know it.
right.
I'm sure you do know a lot of it. But also, how did you find out this stuff that I just learned like 5 minutes ago from my $100,000 a year mastermind? You don't.
Yeah, most likely you don't. And
You
even if
lying, probably.
No, but and like
I hope so.
even if the title of a class is similar to a title of a class you've taken before, I have rewatched the same classes 5 times, just like you were saying, just like you were just saying, and gotten and looked at it from a different perspective and gotten brand new information each time. Or the name of the class is the same, but the educator is different. Completely new information and new perspective on the same idea. We don't know. No one knows everything. No one's ever going to know everything. And that's it. Point blank, period. Keep your mind open and keep learning and keep showing up consistently. Look at us rolling it all together.
Yay. Look
And,
that go.
and you'll get there, And
Yeah.
Alyssa did do that.
Alyssa did. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, so we're going to do extension education. That's amazing. We start doing extension education within the Slice Squad. I knew that was like the missing piece or one of the missing pieces with our consulting services. I said, but here's the thing with extensions and why I've avoided them for so long. And I know that you're on this wavelength too, Araz. Like, they take too long. And I have not found a fast technique that actually delivers the same results.
Mm-hmm.
Not fast enough, anyways.
Not fast enough. And she's like, Nikki, I got it. Just give me a couple days. And she's like, because I've been playing around with something and I'm gonna figure it out. And she did. And yeah, and she did. And she sent it to me and I was like, all right. I was like, you've got an idea. I've got money and a platform. Let's do it. Because it was amazing. And then we started we couldn't say anything for a while because we had to get the patent process rolling. And it's just incredible. But I told her because I had to warn Alyssa, because this is so against the grain, people are going to, and it challenges a lot. So there are people who are taking 3 hours on an install, which is fine. But if we're getting the same install in 30 minutes, that is going to be a little triggering for people. Okay. And I don't like to say triggering and like, oh, you're triggered. I don't mean it like that. I mean, like, this is going to challenge a lot of people and their automatic response is going to be like, no, you're cutting corners, you're sloppy and you suck. Right. So I said, I want you to know that what we're doing here is really against the grain and that we are going to get a lot of people who are excited about it. And we are going to also get a lot of people who are angry. So just know that. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And she's just like, okay, let's go.
And as you guys just launched, so I'm assuming right now it's all good and great and there isn't as much hate, but within the next coming weeks, probably, or months, yeah, it's going to happen. But
There's some hate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
already
like a little bit.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they're like clean. They're like, you're sloppy. Look at your sections. And Alyssa's like, this is a mannequin. You need to calm down. I'm just showing you a demo.
Just a fucking yeah. So I very much like you, Nikki. I think there's so much money to be made in extensions as a stylist. I see the value in it. There's especially where I live. I'm in Southern California. Every bitch fucking has a weave-in or tape-ins or something. Everybody has extensions. I just never marketed to it because of the time it takes, right? So I have a couple clients who do tapes, but even that to me is not as comfortable. So you guys sent me the weft last week. I colored it and had it installed yesterday. It took my friend literally 7 minutes to put a whole row in. And she was just like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, girl, I'm telling you, this is on another level. And she's an extension artist, and she was so mind blown. And she even said, she's like, damn, imagine if every extension service could be this fast. I'm like, it can be. It literally can be.
Now it
If
can
I
be.
put a second row in, we would have been done. It took longer to color the hair than it did to put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just said to because I have all these people in my DMs now that are inquiring, and they're just like, "Well, Nikki, how do you're going to charge thousands of dollars for a service that takes 30 minutes?" And I said, "The fuck I am. Here's why." I'm like, and I just made a video on this before I did this podcast. When I go and get, no other industry is like that. You have all these people with these big platforms that are like, charge for the hours, charge for your time. Fine, cool, do whatever you want. I don't care. But you're selling yourself short, and there is no other industry that is going in that direction, because we are in the, except luxury industries like a massage or a relaxation service. That's completely different, right? You are charging for your time because the longer the better in that circumstance. That is not the case in any other industry. We want it now. We want what we want. We want it now.
I want
I was just,
yesterday.
I want it
Yeah,
yesterday.
exactly.
Like, I never got extensions in my hair, one, because they're uncomfortable, and two, because it takes too long. So now, 13 minutes, my whole head is done and it's comfortable and I can still wear my hair up. I'm sold. I will spend, there's no amount of money that I'm not going to spend on that. I was saying, I get my Botox and my filler. It's been a while, but I will spend $4,000 on it. It takes them what, 30 minutes?
With that.
I don't
Right.
even,
I'll give you
I
guys a
don't
really
even
good
think.
example. So when I first brought Magix on, I was using another color line that was ammonia free, PPD free. Okay. So it was a 45-minute process for permanent color, 60 minutes for gray coverage. So when I first brought Magix on, I tried it on my family, and then I brought it on to a select few clients. And I, in the beginning, chose not to tell them, and I just did it. Right. So I just did it. And then when it was time to wash, they're like, oh, that was fast. I'm like, yeah. And so I introduced this new technology, blah, blah, blah. So when it came time to pay, I charged what I was paying, or I charged them what they were paying for the 60-minute process. And I had this one client literally be like, well, Araz, that was 45 minutes. Normally I'm here for 2 hours. Shouldn't it be cheaper? And dead ass, I turned to her and I said, listen, if you found a way to do your job better, quicker, and more efficiently, would you want your boss to give you a pay cut or a pay raise? And she goes, good point. And I said, exactly. So I found a way to do my job better, faster, and more efficiently. I'm not charging you extra this time, but if you want this again, next time it's going to be an extra $20. So
Yep, it should be more.
it should be more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about all of the area. I actually think of, so I always say, and Nikki and I were joking about this last time we traveled together on the way home from Amplify. Like, we are willing to pay to be able to have convenience, right? All the time, super busy. So I think about all of the ways. So I travel once a month at least. All of the ways that I spend money on saving time and creating convenience for myself in my life. I use the express lane on the way to the airport to avoid the traffic. It costs money. There's
With
tolls.
TSA pre-check.
Yeah, I pay for Clear. I don't do TSA pre-check because it's a whole process, and I'm also not wanting to spend my time doing that. Clear was easy to enroll for. I was like, 1, 2, 3, I'm paying for this without a reasonable doubt. Go right through. I will pay to board early. I'll get Comfort Plus so that I can make sure my luggage is up there. People pay for express shipping, express priority delivery for my Uber Eats. Any way that I could save time, I'm going to pay for it.
Brilliantly. I'm going to pay money to save time.
100%.
That, like, I've never heard that before, and that just resonated so deep with me. Yes, I will pay money to save time. When I travel, and I travel a lot, I paid $20 for a cup of coffee for it to be delivered because I'm not
Delivered to my door. I just did it this morning.
to a fucking Uber, and not even like I do it here too, but mostly when I travel, and people gave me so much shit for it. When I posted my freaking DoorDash thing, I spent $20 for a latte, and they're like, "You're spoiled and entitled." I'm like, "No."
Yeah, kiss my ass. I worked hard for this. And who can, what you spend your money on is convenience.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's none of
Like,
your business, first of all. But
Yeah.
I put it on there because like I'm ridiculous. And I paid the $2.99 extra to get it to me faster.
I do. Priority. I want it now. I want what I want, and I want it now.
Yeah. And so, I spend money to save time. I will work my ass off so that I can spend money to save time. And I'm fucking thriving. I love it here. I love it here.
I
love it here. Like I
I
want any other one.
I love the efficiency lane, and my clients love it too. And it's job security because they're like, okay, well, I know I can get a full transformation with you in 2 hours. I can't sit for 7 hours anymore. So, like, I will pay you 10 times more to get this done faster. Now, so I'm just like, you're just doing yourself a disservice by staying in that mindset and having your clients in that same mindset of like, my time equals money. So now we're at a point where we can do these huge transformations with strands, with magics, with all the placements that we teach, and with all the social media, I mean, all the life hacks that we have that make our lives easier. Like that is what we do. We're literally like one huge life hack at Slice Squad. And we're just a huge life hack. So now we're saving all this time. I'm like, a hairstylist could make in one day without double booking and stressing themselves out what more than a doctor makes in a week. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dead ass. Like that's
Sorry.
Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry. And this is why I'm excited to bring strands in, because I've never marketed myself as an extension artist because of X, Y, and Z. Right. But as I grow and become busier in education, I don't want to completely stop doing hair, but I do hair 3 days a week right now. I want to go down to 1 day a week. So how can I go down to 1 day a week, but still make the same as I did in 3 days? And I feel like strands is going to fucking do that.
This is the way.
Yeah.
It's
like,
color and extensions. And that one day you can make $5,000 and move on with
and
your
that's
life.
my 3 days of work. So what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Alyssa did a $4,000 transformation in 3 hours the other
Explain it
day.
to me with the keratin and the freaking smoothing and the color and the extensions.
The color and the extensions, and $4,000 in 3 hours. That's never been possible for hairstylists before, and it is now. So you can either get on board, choo choo, ride the train, or get off, or keep hating from outside the club. Because
I drink the Kool-Aid. I'm drinking it because, like, when I brought Magics on, what I saw that it did for my business, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I literally doubled my income that year, doubled it. And so that's when I got on that train of just like, okay, how can I be smarter? How can I work faster? Like, I'm not going to sit there for 2 minutes of foil. I'm not going to do, and then 300 foils. Like, that's not me. If it's you, congratulations. My body, after 20 years of doing hair, says, fuck you. Like, you're not foiling for 3 hours. I can't. So if a client needs that and I can't do it, I'll send them somewhere else. But you better believe I'm going to find a way to give them what they want faster, and their hair is going to feel amazing, and they're going to be happy because I'm giving them. Think about it this way: if you're tripping out on I feel bad, if you're tripping out on I feel bad charging more for these express services, you're giving your clients something they cannot buy, which is the time. You're giving that back. It is a gift. They can go run their errands, they can go have a hot dinner, they can go be with their family, they can, like,
go cheat on your husband for all I care. You've got 2 extra hours.
you know what the fuck?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So
get a divorce.
But don't get in that mindset as a stylist, guys. Seriously, like we're putting ourselves in a box of, oh, because it was faster, I should charge less. Fuck no, you are doing your clients a solid. And I will speak from my experience for the last 6 years. My clientele's loyalty has never been as high. My retention rate has never been as high now as it was in my whole 20 years. I had to leave because she moved far away. And for 6 months, she's been trying to find a colorist to be able to cover her grays, but she doesn't have time. Guess who's coming to see me next week? Driving all the way down.
There you go. That I love.
It's job security.
Her drive is longer than her freaking appointment time.
Yep. What does everybody always say when they're super busy? I hear this all the time. Like, I wish there were just more hours in the day. And I feel like that all the time.
Everybody has the same hours. You just got to be smart with how you're utilizing your time, and then smart with what you're offering and how you're going to help your clients. They want more, and meet them where they're at.
Yeah. One of I think Alex Hormozy said it. And, of course I follow Alex Hormozy and Layla, his wife. I love, I love them.
I'm obsessed.
Obsessed with them. Obsessed with them. They're going to acquire my businesses real soon. No.
Not yet. Hold on. We got something.
Not the whole thing. Just a little.
Okay.
Just a little. But anyway, so basically what they said is people who have money, what they don't have is time. So if you want to make money as a business owner, solve that.
And how do you solve that? Give your clients their time back.
Strands, magics, slice techniques.
Home education. That's how you do it.
Like, so you don't have to sit there and think about what the fuck is going to happen. Like the anxiety, like just be good. Be good. Be good in your mindset. Be good in your formulation skills. Be good in your confidence. use the products and tools that are out there to support that, you're solid. But y'all make it so fucking complicated and get all up in your head. And it's like, it's not rocket science. There are avenues for you to be able to do what you want to do, live your fucking best life, your dream life. You gotta lean into it. You gotta step into it and not let your shit come up. Take yourself on, get out of your way and fucking dive in, because I promise you, I love it here. Nikki, do you love it here?
I love it so much.
Yes.
I love it so
You
much.
love it here.
I'm about to go to hair school. Like,
And I want to tell you know what? It's never too late to go to cosmetology school. Now here's the thing. I want to tell people, so because I know we're like kind of stretching this out a long time. So I want to say that Combed is I mean, your education is incredible. The fundamentals is incredible. People are going to say, you know, I will do that after the holidays. There's nothing special that's going to happen after the holidays, and you can always invest in yourself. You can always find resources to invest in ways that are going to help you grow. So do that.
If you're
People
ready
say to me,
to
oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say, if you're ready to ditch the anxiety, or if you have any trouble formulating ever, if you've ever said any anxiety around formulating, the one thing I want you to know that it's more than just formulating. So going on Facebook or going on YouTube or going on TikTok and using somebody's formula, you're not going to get good results. I promise you, because it's so much more than the 6N and the 9V. It's so much more than the 6.4 and the 7.3. It's more than that. So if you're at a place where you want to be rock solid in your confidence behind the chair, knowing that you're going to deliver, not that you're not going to fuck up, but you're going to deliver what your clients want, matching that inspo pick to a fucking T and charging for it, Combed is going to help you with the formulation part of it, because it's going to teach you how to decipher what the hair is going to do, what your chemicals are going to do, puts it all together. It's a synergistic thing, guys. And here's the cool thing people give me shit for. Oh, it's online. I can't do online. We're talking science, we're talking chemistry. So if you come to my class in person and do this, it's awesome. But if you don't have access to it afterwards, everything that I share with you, you're going to retain 2%. You're going to take one or two nuggets. So anytime I do an in-person workshop, they get the online version. So if you can't come to an in-person workshop, because I'm not doing them yet, the online version, you have lifetime access to it. And it's there for you. So you can watch it over and over and over again. It's not put the hair this way and we're done. Like, these are complex concepts that I've simplified for you to where
You explain it so simply.
so that it makes sense, because using the big fucking words, like, we lose people. Okay. Like,
Come
I'm
on.
ADD. I can't, like, I read this shit. I did. I read it all for you guys. All this shit. I read it and
See,
find it.
I read this so you don't have to.
they say that if someone can't explain it to a third grader, then they don't understand it well enough
That's a
themselves.
fact.
And I think that you have really mastered that, because I sometimes find myself trying to explain things that I have not yet mastered, and I overcomplicate it. So it's so true. When you truly understand something at your core, you are able to explain it to other people simply, knowing that that's how they are going to retain that information. And I think you do an amazing job of that. And it is fun. That's why they call it the fundamentals.
Yeah, it's cool because it incorporates hands-on learning, because I'm a very kinesthetic learner myself. So I need to see it, I need to hear it, I need to do it. So every lesson, every module, every concept has a hands-on activity with it, and you don't have to buy anything. Like, you get a fun box, it's got everything in there for you. And you just follow along the course and the modules, and you do your experiments. And I'm here in the DMs with you. If there's ever a situation where you're like, I'm panicking, I got you. Like, it's not a buy it and you don't exist to me. Like, we build friendships through this, right? Because
Yes.
my goal is to help you. It's not to make a buck. Like, I want to help you be better in understanding your craft, right? To build that confidence alongside what Nikki's teaching you in your business and your mindset, in your efficiency. Like, there are people here.
But you do deserve to make a buck.
I mean, yes, I do.
for the value you provide.
But that's
right.
That's not the driving.
What it's all about.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not the driving force. And that is very much, I can see that, and I know that. And like, you can tell when people are in it just for the money. And I know that you're not. And also when people are not willing to invest in themselves, what I say is, but I invest in to learn what we have to learn. We invest in ourselves every day. Like, there is no shortage of education. If I'm spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on my education per year, why do you think you should get access to my brain for free?
Never. When
You
people
won't do anything with it.
can I pick your brain?
You won't make the
No, you won't. You won't. I tell people, like, I feel bad. I feel bad when people say, "Can I pick your brain?" I don't want to help. And not that I don't want to help, but like I'm doing you a disservice, number one, because I'm giving you an out. And then number two, like I spent years building what I have. You don't just get, I'm sorry, I put out what I put out. I give you little nuggets, right? Through YouTube, through podcast, through Instagram, but it's not the whole picture. You can't ever mistake Instagram for legitimate education. Please don't ever do that. Well, don't do that, right? Like use it as inspiration, but what Nikki has in the Slice Squad consult, like that is all years in the making. So it's not what she's posting on Instagram. What she's posting on Instagram is giving you a
Is
little
a snippet.
It's a little snippet. Do not
and that
that.
you can definitely give yourself a boost with what myself and Araz and other educators put out there on social media, but you're not going to make the legitimate changes you need to
No.
make from free information. You're just not.
You're not.
Wait, you
No
want
one
to
does.
know one of my mentors said that so many people, she's an author, and so many people would be like, "Hey, can we go out for coffee and can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain?" Like it was a constant thing. So on her website or on her link tree, she made a tab. It's like pick my brain, $150 for 45 minutes. Book a call, pick my brain.
Yeah, I literally have that on my computer right now. Like I'm booking
No way.
only coaching one-on-one. Pick my brain. Like
Pick my brain.
I don't.
Fine, you could pick it, but
But you have to
it's
pay
gonna
for
cost
it because
money.
it's not like
Yeah.
I love you. I do. I love this whole industry and I want to help, but you got to think if there's 100 people a month wanting to pick there goes my time.
Yep.
And I paid a lot of money for this brain. So like it's an energetic exchange. So like
It is.
I'm giving you value, and there has to be some kind of exchange there. You can't just take. And you won't take it seriously, I promise. So like if you want something bad enough, you'll make it happen for yourself. You find the resources to make it happen. Just like so that's it. Thank you so much. Can you tell people for hanging out with us? I love that this happened. I mean, I could just talk to you all day, but we're not going to do that. Tell people where they can find you.
So on Instagram, it's at this is Araz with underscores. This is ARAZ. I do have the most foreign name. But that's where you can find me on Instagram. You can go to combeducation.com/fundamentals. If you're interested in the fundamentals, Nikki, I'm going to give you a coupon code that you can put in the description here. I don't know what it is yet, or else I would tell you. For $500 off. If anybody
That's amazing. Thank you.
$500 off to invest in yourself, say yes to yourself. This is a really good time because once the holiday rush is over, you can now focus on investing in yourself. So take advantage, $500 off, start the course in whenever you want to. You have lifetime access to it. And yeah, so I appreciate you girls for having me on. This was impromptu, but I loved it. So good.
Yay.
Us too. Thank you
That
so
was
much
fun.
for being here.
Of course.
Take care. Bye, lady.
Until next time.
Thank you for listening to Slice Squad Spills. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe, leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback is going to help us improve and attracts more listeners to the show. Please share with your fellow time slicers. And hey, if you're ready to optimize your time and double your income, we've got you covered.